Hey guys, Joshua and welcome back to Sun Haven, and today I would like to talk about the last new update that came out on April 29, which is patch 0.5, also known as the Carnival update. And I've been playing a little bit on this update and I'm really enjoying it. So today I just wanted to talk about the big stuff that's in this update. So just to summarize, we have one new skill tree with 4 new spells, a revamped Withergate, new barn functionalities, jam maker, B-boxes, community token store at Town Hall, and so much more. So I'm gonna go through all of the new things one by one. So let's start. By the way, at this point, we're a little bit more than halfway through the whole development for Sun Haven. So if you guys don't know, this game is currently in early access. And after this update, the next one is gonna be the events update, which is gonna add a ton of festivals to the game. And after that, we're gonna have the season update, which is gonna have the second season because now there's only one season in game. And after that, there's gonna be the final update and the Switch release, which I know a lot of people are looking forward to. And this game just keeps getting better and better with every update. And with all of the content that is included in this update, if you have not played Sun Haven for a little while, or if you just have not played yet, I would definitely recommend you do so. And I'm sure that after this video, you'll want to play the game. But now let's just jump to the new stuff. And a big chunk of this update is in Withergate. And right away, we got one of the changes that I'm the most grateful for. So the fast travel location is in the same spot in Sun Haven. But when you talk to Charon, you're gonna have one more option. So you can go to the Withergate outskirts, which is gonna be pretty much where we were before. But you can also go directly to the Withergate apartments. And this makes such a big difference because if you've played Sun Haven before, you know walking from the entrance of Withergate all the way to the apartments was a really long walk. And for me personally, it was really annoying. Every time I wanted to go to Withergate, just going to the apartment was just way too long of a walk. So now you can teleport right to the apartment. And right from this entrance here, you can go directly to the lobby, to the apartment hall, or to the rooftop farm. And let's take a look at the rooftop farm because a few things changed here as well. So unfortunately, if you had any stuff on your farm before the update, you will lose everything that was on your farm because the layout completely changed. It's now a lot bigger. Also, there is a crafting table here. And yeah, it's just so much bigger than before. And you can also decorate. So for example, I have some fences here. So you can decorate just like the Nelvary and the Withergate farms. And sometimes you're gonna see these little zombie hens, and if you beat them up, you're gonna get, oh, sometimes you can get seeds, but this time I didn't get anything. Also, you see these little pumpkins. I think they're just decorative. But yes, the farm is just so much bigger than before. And you can see also that the shipping portal looks a little bit different. It fits the Withergate aesthetics a little bit more, and you can move it around. Also, now you can actually craft. There's a skill. We're going to talk about the skills a bit later, but there are new skills, and you can now craft shipping portals if you'd like to have more than one, or, you know. So that is very nice. And look at this farm. It's just so big. And there's also a pool, so you can fish directly from your farm. And they added 40 new fish divided into the 3 towns. So if you guys like fishing, you're gonna have lots of new fish to get. And not only did they add fish, they also added plenty of new things, including furniture. So I know that they added over 400 pieces of furniture. And there was already so much stuff to decorate in Sun Haven. Decorate your house, decorate your farm. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of these items in the shops. And speaking of shops, let's go down. So if you go down to the lobby, and then you get out of the lobby, you're gonna be actually in Withergate. And then if you want to go back to the boat for fast travel, you just need to go back in. And you go to the elevator and you go down to the sewer. But for now, let's go to town. And you'll notice that the layout of Withergate changed quite a bit. And you can see that on the map. So we finally have a map for Withergate. And for all 3 towns actually now, you can see that all of the important buildings, all the buildings you can enter now have some white outline. And you can just hover over the buildings and you're gonna get a name and a description. So it makes it a lot easier to read the map and see where things are. So as you can see, Withergate is split into 3 parts pretty much. So there's the castle part, then there's the middle part with the carnival, and the apartments, and then there's the bottom part, the downtown with all of the shops. And it's all very vertical, and there's just like one way to go, so you don't get lost as much as before. I know for me, I always found Withergate a little bit confusing, but I really like the new layout. So I'm just gonna walk around and like, they just redid a lot of things. There's a lot of new elements. There's also lots of new, just random little villagers. So it feels a lot more lively than it was before. Withergate was always the town I didn't like going to because it was just a pain to walk, as I said before, from the entrance to the apartments, and then all of the shops were confusing and everything, and I just didn't like it. But now I really, really enjoy it. And so, as I was saying, there is a new shop, and it is the general store. So before in Withergate, there were some few areas outside in the streets where you could buy things, kind of like this one here, but now there's an actual shop you can go inside. So this one has a lot of furniture. So as I said, there's over 400 new furniture items in this game, and even before there was already so much, so I'm not sure which item is new, which item is not. But if you want to get some Withergate themed furniture, here's the place to go. And if you talk to Flemet, you're gonna be able to buy some random items as well. Nothing really interesting here, but yeah, just a nice little general store. But honestly, what I think is the most interesting part of the new Withergate is the carnival. So first, when you arrive, you can get some popcorn and some cotton candy. So once in a while, these will regenerate and you can just have some snack. Cotton candy will just replenish your mana, and the popcorn will actually provide a moderate amount of movement speed permanently. So this is a permanent buff. And one thing I really like now that they added, if you click here, you can see your character stats. And if you have not played Sunhaven yet, you may not know, but when you eat food in this game, it's always gonna give you a permanent buff. So here now you can see all of the food you've eaten so far and what are the exact buffs that you're getting from that food. Just keep in mind, the more you eat a food, the lower the buff is gonna be every time. So it's good to have a varied diet in this game and eat a lot of different things. But as you can see, now I've eaten one popcorn so far, and it added 0.015 to my maximum movement speed. So I'm gonna eat one more popcorn, and you can see here plus 1.05%. If I come back here, I can see 0.0255 to my maximum movement speed, and I can see the result here. I can see all of my stats. And that's something you couldn't see before. You were just eating things, but you didn't know what was the exact effect. So now all of the items, even if you look over the seeds, it tells you like how many days they take to grow. All of the items have very accurate descriptions now, and it just makes a huge difference. So that's one little thing that they fixed in this update, which I really appreciate. So the next thing you're gonna see after the little popcorn and cotton candy stalls are just lots of different shops. So you can buy food here, this one as well, with the red tickets. And these red tickets you're gonna get by winning certain minigames. And this shop right here sells some potions, which I'm gonna show you the effect a little bit later. There's also a shop here, and this one sells the most expensive things you can buy with the tickets. So lots of furniture, items, as well as mounts. So there's a bat mount and a choo-choo train. And now you can also see what movement speed you'll get from the mount. So these ones will increase your speed by 30%. Maybe it's the same for all the mounts actually, I'm not too sure. So all of these things, you're gonna buy them with the red tickets. By the way, you may have noticed I just got a little pop-up saying that if I'm not in bed by 12, I'm gonna fall asleep, pass out, and get charged a hospital fee. So there are now tutorials in the game and little tips that will appear at the correct time. And that is going to be very useful for new players. You know what? I'm just going to go to bed actually before I pass out. I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, so as I was saying here, there's plenty of different minigames. There's also another shop right here. This guy's selling pumpkin themed item. Once again, you need red tickets to buy them. And so to play the minigames, you're going to need Withergate tickets, which is the currency used in Withergate. So I've got 62 right now. And most minigames are gonna cost you 30. So I'm just gonna play 2 of them just to show you a few examples. So this one is pretty much like a memory game. And of course, the better your score is, the more red tickets you're gonna get. And you got 5 lives, so you can't make too many mistakes in this one. And so I'm just gonna try to do this, and hopefully I can get a lot of tickets, enough tickets to buy something. So as you can see, I ran out of lives, so I may not, yeah, I didn't get any tickets. So let's play another game. One that is actually a little bit easier and that I find is really good to get easy tickets is this one. You just need to count the amount of jelly beans that fall into the jar. And yeah, it's pretty simple. I played it a few times and didn't have any issues. So let's see how it goes this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 26 if I'm not wrong. So let's see. So then he gives you a few options. So I'm gonna go for 28. Maybe 23. Let's go for 28. Oh, no, I miscounted. So actually, yeah, I didn't get it. Was probably 23. So things are not going well. But if you do win, you're gonna get red tickets. So currently I have 9 of them. And one of the most interesting things you can buy is from this shop right here. So this guy is selling transformation potions. And there's really a lot of them. And they're not necessarily useful, but they're kind of fun little gimmicks, I guess. So when you drink these potions, you just transform into some monsters, some characters, or a TV, such as in this case right here. And when you're in this other state, you can't use any weapons, you can't use any tools, you can talk to people, you can run, you can walk, you can jump, all of that. But yeah, it's not the most useful thing, but it's kind of fun or funny, I guess. So there's that, and you may have heard the new music. So there's a lot of new tracks in this update. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Withergate. I'm really enjoying this part of the update. I now like Withergate a lot more than I did previously. But now let's go back to Sunhaven. So there's a few new things in this town, and we can finally enter these 2 houses. And that is such a great change, because sometimes these people would have quests and you would need to talk to them and they would just stay inside their house, sometimes pretty much for the whole day, so you could never complete your quest. And sometimes their quest had like time limits, so you had like 2 or 3 days to finish them, and these people would just stay inside their house. So we're no longer gonna have this problem, and especially this one I think is so cute. I love all the green and like the little plants and the cute little fridge, and yeah, everything is just so cute. So that's one thing. And the other thing is right here is the beauty salon. So you can repair it. It's gonna cost, I believe, 3,000 coins, 30 planks, and 30 stone or something like that. And once you repair it, you can go talk to Billy, and she's actually gonna bring you to the character creation screen. So it's the exact same as when you create your character for the first time. So you can even like change your race, you can change your skin color, you can change your hair, your eyes, your anything, just like when you created your character for the first time. And I think that's nice, especially for those who started their save file at the very beginning of their early access when there were not as many options. And yeah, or if you just change your mind and you want to spice things up a little bit, so you can change your character. And basically you just need to pay the first time to repair the salon. But once the salon is repaired, the makeovers are completely free, so you don't have to pay every time. So that is pretty nice. Another thing that they've added in Sunhaven are the community tokens. So there's a bulletin board right here. It's been here since the beginning. But now when you complete these quests, you're gonna get community tokens. And what you can do with these community tokens is go to Bernard in the town hall, and you're gonna be able to purchase things from him. So there are items that were there before, like the diamond and the bone gift. Previously, we were able to buy these with gold, but now you're gonna need to buy them with the community tokens. And there's also other items which are elixirs, and these ones are gonna give you permanent buffs, kind of like when you eat food. So for example, this one, Elixir of Mind, provides 3 mana permanently. This one provides 2 spell damage permanently, so they all have different buffs. And some of them will even give you skill points. So this one will give you 1 fishing skill point, 1 mining skill point, 1 combat skill point, and there's also transformation potions, which are similar to the ones that we saw at the carnival, but they're just like different characters or different monsters. So that's for the community tokens, and I think it's just a nice incentive to actually do the requests that are on the built-in board, because I never really took the time to look at them and actually do these quests. But now with these tokens, you can get pretty nice stuff, so I think it's worth it. And while we're talking about that and all of these new things, let me talk about the skill tree. So they revamped the whole skill system. So if you've played previously, you're gonna have to reallocate all of your skill points because they really changed things quite a bit. So first of all, previously there used to be a lot of skills that were just not implemented into the game yet. So they were just like grayed out and you couldn't select them. So now all of the skills are there, so there's no gaps, there's no holes, everything's there. One other change that they made is that now most of the skills have different ranks. So for example, the earthquake skill, that skill was there before, but there was just one rank, so it would always have the same effect and consume the same amount of mana. But now if you want to allocate more skill points into a specific skill, it will get stronger and have a better effect. So you have a little bit more choice and you really have to decide which skill you want to focus on and dedicate more points to. For example, this one, the earthquake skill, if you just have the first rank, it's gonna be tilling a small square of 16 tiles on your farm. But if you have the rank 3, then it's gonna till 36 tiles. So that's a pretty big difference, and all of the skills are like that. So you just have to be a little bit wiser into what you're gonna spend your points on. Also, another big change that they did, you can see that there are different tiers from 1 to 10, and that's the same for all of the different skill trees. And pretty much how it worked previously is that you could allocate 1 skill point in the first tier, and then right away the next skill point you could allocate it to the second tier, and then third tier, and you could make all of your way up to the 10th tier very quickly, pretty much as soon as you reach level 10. But now it is a little bit more demanding. As you can see, the tiers are locked behind a certain amount of points that you need. So for example, before I can spend any point on the 8th tier skills, I'm gonna need to spend 35 points in this skill tree. So progression is a little bit slowed down in that way, but I think it makes a lot more sense. And also they did a lot of balance adjustment. So yeah, I just think that they did a really good job with the skills. They also added a lot of completely new things. So for example, here there's a whole branch in the exploration tree that's all about the community tokens and relationships. So you're gonna get bonus for completing the quests. And also, for example, this one, that's one skill I really wanted to have to the 3rd rank. And it grants a bonus of 20 gold each day for every heart you have with all of the romanceable characters. So that's a good incentive to build up your relationships. There's also new skills, like this one increases your jump height. This one increases movement speed by 20% in the 3rd rank while traveling over paths placed on your farm. So nice incentive to place paths on your farm, and it really makes traveling a lot faster. There's also new skills for fighting. And if you guys play this game, I'm gonna let you check out all of these skills by yourself. But overall, I'm so happy with what they did here. Oh, and one neat little detail in regards to the skill. So previously, you could only have 2 skills equipped at a time. So there was the Q and R. But now the more skills you learn, you're actually gonna unlock new hotkeys. So now I have Q, R, T, and F. So you don't have to unequip your skills all the time, and that's very useful if you want to switch between like your farming skill and your combat skills. Like, it's a lot easier now because you can just keep them here, and yeah, it makes accessing your different skills at all time a lot easier. Now I'd like to talk about some additions to the animal mechanics and the barns, and I found this aspect of Sunhaven pretty lackluster until now. So first, there's a new skill in the farming skill tree, which is the new friends, and this one will give you the ability to purchase sheep and pigs. So there's now 4 types of animals in the game: chicken, cows, sheep, and pigs. The sheep will give you wool, and the pigs will give you earth crystals. And as you can see in the top right corner of the map, there is now a maximum amount of animals you can have on your farm, and this is determined in part by the skills that you have, but also by the amount of barns. So the more barns you have on your farm, of course, the more animals you'll be able to have. And pretty much all of the small animals like a chicken and the baby stumps and other small animals only take 1 space, but the bigger animals like the cow, the sheep, and the pigs will take 2 space. So you can put your animals in the barn and just take care of them, pick up your little item every day. And instead of feeding them one by one with your animal food like this, you can just put the animal food in the feeding stations and the animals will eat every day. Also, one thing I like is that you can move things around. You can really decorate your barns as you'd like. So I have a feeding station here. I can just like move it around. I can also pick up the hay and like all of the little items. Like there's some fence here. It came like this. I didn't customize anything yet. It just came like this, but I could take that fence and move it around. So you really have a lot of freedom. And there's also a few interesting items. So there's the automatic collector. So this one will save you some time. So instead of picking up your wool and your eggs and your milk and everything every day, you just put this here. And every morning, if you fed, of course, your animals, you're gonna get some products in there. There's also the automatic feeder, which I have in my other barn. So it's this one, and this one you just put the animal food in there, just like this. And pretty much every day, so for example, if I take the feed, it's gonna place it automatically. So I don't have to worry. I just put all of my food in there. And also every day it's gonna go in my collector automatically. So I get the logs from my baby stumps, the milk from my cow, and the eggs from my chickens. And also if you have skills such as this one, the happy animal skills that give you a chance to yield an extra animal product, even with the automatic collector, that skill will still apply. So you don't need to take the products manually. So the automatic collector and the automatic feeder, you can buy them from the city hall. And from the pet store, there's an item you can buy is the animal name tag. And this one will allow you to rename your animals, which you couldn't do before. You just give them a name like this and now they have a name. So that's pretty useful. And yeah, that's pretty much it for what's new about animals. Now let's talk about the crafting, because a lot of crafting recipes were added or tweaked in this update. So I'm not going to go into every little detail, but just have a little glance at what's new. So there's now a jam maker, a bee box, an alchemy table, and a jewelry table. So you will unlock these with the skill trees. So there's gonna be 1 skill for each crafting station, and we're gonna take a look at each of them one by one in just a minute. And there's also new flooring, which I really like, because previously there was just the wooden plank and the stone and the workshop. Now there's oak plank, there's brick floor tile and patterned floor tile, white stone floor tile, which looks very gorgeous. So we got new stuff here. Furniture table is pretty much the same, pretty boring. Grinder, I believe, is pretty much the same, pretty boring. In the anvil, now if you have the correct skill, you can craft small mana tomes, which are gonna increase your maximum mana. You can also make selling portals. There's also new armors, so there's the bush armor set. There's also the warcaster's robe, and this one's gonna be good for players that focus more on magic. There's the aerodynamic armor set, and as you can see, they all have requirements. So for example, this one you need combat level 20. Then there's the Spectre helmet, which is also good for spellcasters. So yeah, lots of different armors. Then you've got the jewelry table. So this one will allow you to craft rings and amulets. And all of these require gold bar, which is good to see because gold was pretty useless until now in Sunhaven. So I'm sure a lot of players have accumulated a lot of gold and now they're going to be able to make all of these amazing accessories. A lot of them have pretty interesting stats. So that is one other good thing. And then there's the alchemy table, which is gonna allow you to brew potions, and potions will give you temporary buffs. And also, if we go in the kitchen, you'll see that there's a ton more recipes. There was already quite a bit of recipes in this game, but now there's really, it's an insane amount of recipes. And as I said before, I think I said it before, but all of the food in this game provide permanent buffs, and the more you eat a specific food, the lower the buff is gonna be. So ideally you want to eat a lot of every food to get the most buffs possible. And once again, if you go here in the stats, you can see all the stuff you ate and all of your stats. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to just try to cook all of these things. There's really a lot, and once again, it's gonna be an incentive to try to gather all of the different ingredients. And next we've got the jam maker. So this one is used to make jam, and as you can see, jam is quite slow to make. It takes some time, but it is pretty good because they give you experience. So for example, this apple jam is gonna give me 50 farming experience. So I'm crafting some orange jam right now, which gives me 60 exploration XP and more apple jams. And the rarer jams, for example, this one, the golden pomegranate jam, gives you really a lot of experience. And I think it's an interesting mechanic because in many farming games, you're gonna be making jams just to make money. But in this one, you can make jam, yes, to make money, but also to get experience. And it's nice because, for example, if you don't like fishing, well, you can just make some blueberry jam every day and you're still gonna be able to increase your fishing skill. Also, one thing I want to mention for the jam is that until now, in order to get fruits, you had to forage and go out everywhere and try to find some fruits in the wild trees. But now, if you go to the farming store, you can now buy fruit tree seeds. So I planted some blueberry here. I planted some orange here. So you can now make an orchard on your farm. You don't have to go foraging all the time, and that makes it a lot easier to make jam. Another really good addition to the game, which is also a bit different than how it is usually done in farming games, is honey. So you can now craft these bee boxes. And let's read the description of the boxes. So a home for bees. The bees will travel to nearby flowers to collect pollen and create honey. If there are 12 of the same type of flowers within 6 tiles of the bee box, the bees will create honey. The honey's flavor and effects are altered by the flowers the bees collect from. So I was a bit confused at first with the description when it said 6 tiles. So I actually tried placing flowers a bit further away. And I tried also mixing different flowers and that didn't work. So what I found out that worked is that you just place one type of flower, strictly just one type of flower, and just one tile away from the bee box. So really just like this. So the 12 tiles right outside of the bee box, you put one type of flower. So I'm not too sure where the 6 tiles come from, but after a few days, you're gonna get honey, and then it's gonna start again. So it takes 2 to 3 days, depending once again on your skills. And honey gives you permanent buffs. So for example, this one, the daisy honey, gives me a small amount of health permanently. And this one, the blue roses honey, a small amount of mana permanently. And they also give me some, like right now, which is good if you want to heal yourself in combat on top of increasing your maximum stats. So every type of flower is gonna give you a different type of honey. There's 11 types. And they're all going to boost a different stats. So since your farm is pretty big in Sunhaven, I would recommend making an area on your farm, which is what I'm going to do with all of the different types of honeys. And yeah, so I think that's another great addition to this update. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for the bulk of this update. There is a lot more, a lot of little details that improve the experience, a lot of balance changes. Overall, I gotta say, I think this is my favorite update so far. I just feel like it's adding a lot of things. And then after this one, we're gonna have, as I said earlier, the events update and the seasons update. And I'm looking forward to those. And then we're gonna get the final release and the Switch version. Let me know what you guys think of this update. I think what I really like the most about this update is that now Withergate is so much more enjoyable. It makes it a lot easier to go to your Withergate apartment, and the rooftop farm is so much better. The carnival is a lot of fun, and I gotta say I also really enjoy the jam and the honey. And now that you can plant fruit trees on your farm, I feel like we just have so much space on our farm in Sunhaven, and previously I didn't know what to do with my farm with all of this land, but now I have ideas of like making an orchard, making an area with honey, making an area just for making jam, and like I have so many ideas now on how to decorate my farm. And with all of the new furniture items, there's gonna be so much more to do. And of course now the barns have a proper function, so they're not useless like they were before. So yeah, I'm just really happy with this update. Let me know guys what you think. Leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more Sunhaven content like this, and I'm gonna see you all in the next video.